Hi, Laura.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for sitting down with
Oh
us.
my goodness. Thanks
We're
for the
here
invite.
with LFD, also known as Let's F Design. Laura Fendley Design.
I like it. I like it either way.
You're here for it either
I'm
way.
here for it either way.
I usually start by asking, all kinds of like really high level, super intellectual questions. But can you just remind me, how did we meet?
Okay. So I have not been in the industry for so long.
How long have you been in here?
Like a year and 8 months.
Yeah, couple
right?
years
Like
almost.
right in, like 2 feet in. I am not young. And I thought, you know what? In order for me to do this, I need to like jump 2 feet in and know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So yes, I went to design school, but I also reached out to like industry leaders.
That's right.
Hi. So I actually reached out to Jim from CF Interiors, and him and I had like a little PK about everything.
Furniture World.
You got it. And
Jim's incredible resource. We sat down with Jim last week.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw a little snippet
Little
of that.
snippet,
Nice. I can't wait. And then he said, go and meet Tyrell.
And he'll teach you everything about window treatments and wallpaper and automation and all that stuff.
All of it.
That's right. And now we've had the pleasure of working on a few projects. They've turned out beautifully. And you've given us one of the most challenging drapery jobs that we've seen. It was small but mighty.
It was.
And I thought it was a really good way for us to start a relationship because it was like a technical project with a particular client and particular needs on site. And we collaborated really well. And I'm super grateful of our relationship that we now have.
Ditto. And the team that you had in there, everything. It was amazing.
Thank you.
A really good experience.
We love a challenge most of the time.
Me too. How do you not in this industry?
Yeah, right?
You have to love a challenge.
It's not all
and you
fun
have
and
to be a
games.
problem solver.
And there's a lot of that goes into it. What made you want to get into the industry? Because you said, you're coming up on year 2. I remember you were an educator before, and now you're a wonderful designer and decorator. And just tell us a little bit about the transition, what inspires you, what inspired you to make the jump?
Sure. Yeah. I am a lifelong learner at heart, and I don't sit still. So it was something that really intrigued me. It was always something I wanted to do, but I just didn't have that opportunity when I was young. It just was not in my cards. I didn't grow up in a place that was like, you're going to be an entrepreneur.
Where was that? At home or like geographically?
Both.
Okay.
I grew up in a farming community,
okay.
A village.
A hamlet?
Yes, actually. East of Toronto called Orno.
Okay.
Like,
right?
No. You would, if you did, it was because you went to the Orno bakery, because that's all we had. A bakery, a Chinese food store or a Chinese restaurant, and a bank. Like this was it.
That was downtown.
This was it. That's it. So it just wasn't in the cards.
Okay.
Right. So like I went to university and did all the things and ended up being a teacher. For 17 years.
Wow.
Almost 17 years.
But you're so young.
Oh my God, I love you. Thank you. I knew I liked you. Yeah. And then I put my house up for sale. I did DIYs all throughout my life. Like I laid my own LVP in my house. I renovated my bathrooms, fully redid my basement myself, like did it all, pulled permits, and my dad was super handy. So he kind of taught me, along the way. But when my house went up for sale, I had people knocking on my door asking who designed my house. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought I could do this for a living. So I was still teaching full time and went and did interior design at Interior Design Institute. So like an online, so I could still manage all of it. And then COVID hit. And I was really engaged with that home stuff. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not happy. This is not successful. I wasn't feeling successful. I wasn't feeling like my career as a teacher was going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So then I transitioned.
Amazing.
I just did all the things. I took all the courses, learned all the things, reached out to industry leaders, made amazing connections, and jumped 2 feet in.
And here we are.
And here I am.
Crushing it.
I feel really successful. And that word to me means like wholeheartedly, I'm happy. I feel really fulfilled. You know what? I heard that just kind of resonated with me. I heard a quote the other day that said, the universe will not let you live in peace where you're not supposed to settle. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. Like that hit home with me because I finally feel I'm kind of in the right spot right now.
Like that sense of calm, that sense of assuredness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just am doing what I feel as though a little bit of a natural talent. I'm able to put that forth.
It sounds like you have a natural talent for recognizing, steps or paths to success. Do you think that's from being an educator for so long and being a little mini mentor to hundreds or thousands of little people over the years and helping them identify how to achieve their goals? Because, somebody who would want to make the transition into this industry or in any industry, just having the like wherewithal or awareness to say, the first step for me is I'm just going to go to the community and find out who is the best or one of the best in each of these scopes of work, as opposed to like starting with, their vision for how things should be done, and then learning along the way. You kind of skipped past that and went right to the very top and said, "How should I be doing this?"
Yeah.
And so, why is that? Is that from being an educator? Have you just always
Right.
been like that? Like,
Always have been a little bit of like a overachiever. Like I will be successful. So how that's going to get me there is I'd go to the most successful people, to be honest. But yes, and when you're an educator, you're forced to reflect, and you're forced to give feedback, get feedback. So that has really helped. You're also forced into a community, right? So all those things, as much as I didn't want to attend some of those meetings, it was really good for me because it taught me how to truly reflect fully on everything. Like this conversation, I will go back in my car and think about it for 4 days. But do you know what I mean? I will look at what this person's doing. Are they successful? Why are they successful? And I would make mental notes, physical notes, everything, and think, okay, I'm going to apply that. Right. And so that's kind of just helped me roll into it. And then meeting people, thought, okay, you are doing this and this is amazing. So how can I put this into my practice? And I take feedback very well. I think that that's significantly helped me in this business, especially working with trades, contractors. Everybody's a little bit different, right? And clients especially. And just applying that to my practice. So yes, that reflection piece, incredibly important. Feedback and accepting that feedback really graciously has been really, really helpful. But community is everything. Honestly, community
100%.
is everything. I am so thrilled that I've entered this community at a time that people are willing to share. They're really willing to engage with others who ask like just honest questions, are just naturally intrigued. I was very ignorant to this business until I, reached out to ABC designers and people who are, really leading this community, and they have helped me significantly. Like I'm forever grateful.
And I think that was my next question is, did you find that those people at the top from the design perspective and those leaders in the design community, not necessarily like trades and specialists and general contractors, who would be super eager to talk to somebody that's entering the industry so that they can make a mark, so that they can help, and so that they can eventually be your go-to person in that scope of work. But did you get that same kind of enthusiasm from the design leaders, or was it a little bit more difficult to crack in? Because when I've talked with people in the industry over the years, and as we've been doing some of the concert series, I've gotten the feedback that at least the old guard and some of the more established people that are doing this for decades were more closed off or less available. So do you find that as well? Or just tell me a little bit about how that, trying to get that mentorship or that information from the community has gone.
I think it's your approach. So I never approached it by tell me what you know. Like I want to eat, right? I never approached it by this is just going to be a give relationship. You're going to give to me. I was truly approaching it by like a naive, just really humble approach. Like I just genuinely wanted to know, and it always started with a positive. I always complimented what they did because, of course, right? And that significantly helped me. Did I have to prove myself a little bit? Were they willing to just jump 2 feet in with me? Not at all, and I don't think they should have, right? Because I'm just not that person. It had to be a little bit of a give and take, and asking somebody for coffee just to have a conversation to say like, this is amazing. Like, how did you build this amazingness, right? And then they were a little bit like, okay, I'll give you some of my trade secrets. I'll talk to you a little bit, but I also had to prove my value. What am I going to do with it? And how have I been successful? And the more success I've had, the more they're willing to share with me.
Right, because that shows that you're serious about the industry, you're serious about your business.
Well,
and it's your baby, because not always, but there are some designers and decorators that do it kind of like as a hobby designer or part-time. And so if this is your career and you're improving that and you're stepping up and you're delivering good work and you're pushing the overall deliverables and perception of the industry forward, then people want to help.
Yeah. I think the major piece too, what might have got me in the door, was I don't want to come in this industry charging this and undervalue anybody above me. I thought there's no way. So that was honestly my major question when I reached
On
out to
pricing,
designers.
where should I be?
It was, because that's the last thing I want. Yes, do I need to price myself for my limited years of experience? But yes, I did. But I didn't want to come in Calgary charging A when it's actually here. And then what does that do to the industry? It just completely undervalues everything that we do and undervalues the hard work that everybody's put in to make a mark. So that approach, I think, was really sensible for me in terms of getting within the community and feeling like I'm a team player.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some things that you think new entrants, whether that's people like yourself who are making a transition in a career or somebody coming out of school, could do to see the success in a short time? Not obviously, foregoing all the hard work that goes into this and the dedication and the sleepless nights and the woes of entrepreneurship. Is this going to work? And where's the next contract coming from? And it's a business. It's still that. But knowing all that aside, what are some things that you think somebody that's changing careers or entering the design and construction community could do, beyond just going to the top, which I think is a really great strategy, and asking for mentorship? What are some other things that you've done that have worked in the first couple of years, or that people should be considering if they're looking at making that change or entering the industry?
I honestly think taking all those courses. Like, I took so many processing courses, design processing, business processing. I didn't go to school for business. I have a post-secondary education in history and sociology.
Fascinating.
Tell me how that was gonna get me anywhere. Honest to God, I wish somebody was like, excuse me, what are you gonna do with this? You're gonna become a teacher.
Besides teach.
What else are you gonna do? Anyway, here I am. But yeah, I took all the courses. I had probably, if I say 6 pricing, 6 processing, since design, process courses, I'm probably under exaggerating. I took so many. And what I did with them is I basically, because you're your own people, right? You got to just figure it out. I took them all and then created my own process based off of that and what was successful within each. And then created all my client facing documents. So I think that's a big piece, is get your client-facing documents. Figuring out your process ahead of time will help you navigate that when you're actually in front of somebody. It just immediately, you can have a little bit more confidence when you have a process and an approach, right? Because entrepreneurship is just a wild
ride.
I have nobody in my family that is an entrepreneur. So this has been a ride.
Yeah.
A ride. And also figuring out your strengths. That has been huge for me. I'm a very visionary. I can walk into a space and be like, oh, this is exactly how it needs to look. Right? I can just see it. And not everybody has that. And sitting down with a computer, it just doesn't flow with me. My energy isn't like this. I'm not this energy. So understanding that and immediately finding, and I've been through several, but finding people to do my drafting, to do my measuring, to do all those pieces has really helped me focus in on what I'm good at.
Right. Which is setting that creative design direction and pushing things forward.
Exactly. Really the people. I do the initial, I do it all. I do the initial meetings, and then yes, I freelance other things out.
Right.
Because
you can't be
where my strength is.
People are inside your own business.
And that's what'll drown people, I think, when you are everything to everybody.
When you look at the industry as a whole, now that you've been in it a couple of years and you kind of have a fresh take or a fresh perspective, where do you think there's opportunities for, whether that's current design firms or design professionals, to iterate and do something new, or that's new entrants coming in like yourself? Where is there space in the market to kind of innovate or to do something creative?
Oh, it's such an interesting question. Wow. That one's throwing me a little bit. I think there's so much space in all avenues of it right now, right? You worry about that next job. You worry about all those things, but really there's enough out there for all of us. I think coming into it depends on where your skill set is, though, right? That just completely depends on where your skill set is for somebody coming into the business and what they feel like they want to offer, right? I work with an amazing drafter right now that is her skill set. So she reaches out and builds community around designers and other people, that's where she focuses her energy, right? And we all need that. Yeah,
So it's just finding that fuel that pushes you forward and that makes you happy or joyful, and kind of marrying that with the opportunity in the market. And I think that you're right, that there is a lot to go around and there's room for everybody, because we're kind of at a time now where interior design, real estate, construction, the home as a whole has shifted from, COVID to today, where there is more value put into the importance of home, the feelings that we have in our space, and how literally the space that we're in can affect our mental health. So I think that's probably why we're seeing this, timing in the market where design and construction is going to be even more important go forward. Plus, we're not like slowing down on producing humans, apparently. So.
No.
No.
Honestly, there's enough ugly and enough bad design out there that everybody needs help. But just what you said, COVID really kickstarted that entire piece. People were living in their space realizing,
it doesn't feel great in here.
I don't feel good. And there isn't, one of the first questions I ask somebody is, really when I try to get to know them, what kind of aesthetic they're going for is, what's your favorite hotel? Like, what's your favorite restaurant? Because you get a full vibe. And like,
what's yours?
Feel good. Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
What's your favorite hotel and your favorite restaurant?
Put on the spot. Okay. It's going to be like, I'm going to take us to like Florence right now.
Okay.
I can't even remember. Isn't that funny? I can't even remember. I was in I was just out of high school, and my mom took me to this in Florence. It was like right off of a piazza. Like it was just the energy. And I love that. It was a little mix of old, but Florence is like up and coming university students kind of situation. So it had like a little hit of new as well. So it was transitional. And I think that really resonates with me. Restaurants are interesting. The other day I was at Swim Club.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been there.
I was like, oh, this is a whole different
This is what's
vibe.
up.
Yes. And I was just, yeah, right. But I think I can kind of come into it all. Everything makes me happy. Like I have clients that are like very country, very modern, very eccentric. And I love it all.
And what do you think like gives somebody the ability to design across multiple spectrum? Because I find like some designers have that same skill set where they can be a visionary or help guide, a design direction independent of like the budget or the style. And then some people are like super focused on a particular look. And like, what is that separates the two? And, let's tell me like why. I know you can do that full spectrum because of just the way your mind works, but why do you think we see that kind of like those two parallels?
Ooh. Yeah, I think it's just people get really comfortable as well. I think designers get really comfortable and they build a really good community and vendors that source and supply everything that they need.
Inside this box or inside this wheelhouse.
Kind of, right? So, but to be honest, my favorite design is just my client's uniqueness. Like those are my favorite. Like when they say like, what's timeless? Like or trending, like it just kind of hurts my feelings a little bit because it just puts people into a box. And it's honestly, when you get to the nitty gritty of it with a client, because I'm like, I love white, like, I love beige. But really, when you actually sit down with them, they don't. Like, show me your favorite piece of art. They don't. So, to me, timeless design is really what sings to you. Like what makes you walk into a space and feel joy, right? Yeah.
What gives you joy?
This. Well, you.
Community.
Community. No. I think when I design a full space and get it done and watch my clients walk in, there's just this element of excitement. This is like full transparency. I'm a fairly open book. I became quite resentful of the life that I was living as a teacher. I just was, and watching my husband or other people in the industry, like, attending these events or like even going for coffee at 10 a.m., like stuff I could not do. So I became really resentful and I realized I was put into this box and it just was not good for my mental health either. I want the freedom to be able to do what I want, make my own schedule. I don't like really being told what to do, entirely honest, if I'm being fully honest. And having this freedom to create my own schedule, to really help people the way I want to help people, and I know, can help people, has really just made me feel like whole again, to be honest. That sounds so
exciting.
deep.
It's
Oh my
so
God.
cheesy and
It's
amazing.
so deep.
Yeah, I love it.
It is like, it's, you know what, that's a piece.
So philosophical. But no, honestly,
Lord,
but that's why I asked, because that's important. Philosopher.
I failed it because I couldn't. It was so high level for me. But, a little bit of woo woo, right? Like everybody has a little bit of woo woo, and that was like mine. It was dead inside for me.
And design has like sparked your joy back up, and that's exciting.
It is.
And I think it's kind of cool because you're obviously going to carry that forward as part of your design process, that you want to have that same effect and inspire people through the designs and the ways that you're changing people, right? And their space.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's exciting.
Thanks.
I don't think it's that woo-woo.
Okay. Well, I mean, I did lean. Well, let me tell you, when I was quitting my job as a teacher, you're quitting stability, you're quitting a pension, you're quitting a regular pay. Like,
what's wrong with you?
I had to lean in to where's my intuition and like what's guiding me and where am I being drawn to. And honestly, that I actually haven't let go of, because that has saved me so much in this industry. I will walk in and do like a consultation and I get a feeling. I'm like, nope, I'm fully leaning in to that intuition, and that saved me from who knows. Right? In this industry, I think you really need to follow your gut and what feels right.
And on that kind of vein, what are some of the things that have felt right in terms of like collaborations, different vendors, community events? Like, what are some of the things that have just like right away you knew, I'm glad I connected with this person, or I'm glad I went to this event, I'm going to continue working with this person, or I'm going to come to this every year? Like, what are some of those experiences or some of those people you've met in the first couple of years that you're like light bulb moments? Jim, obviously.
Okay, yeah, Jim, CF, 100%. You guys, some really amazing designers actually across the globe as well. Even just vendors, like there's so many vendors that I have, architects that I've met that have just become really great friends. Like you and your team, outstanding. Your ability to respond to an email or pick up a phone is so impressive. That weighs a lot.
That's why I have these bags. I don't sleep.
Okay,
so.
Noted. No, that's the response time has been so amazing. I've also, I had a couple painters in when I was painting my house, and they stuck like fully around painting. What just became huge for me. I did several projects with them, and then through that, I met a couple contractors. And they, again, just stuck with me, and when I was just learning and like really just wanting to get into the business, I used to just knock on like doors of like construction sites, be like, I'm just so interested. Can you tour me through? This looks amazing. That's how I met some amazing architects, and actually met their entire teams as well and got my foot in the door there. And then designers, I honestly, I cannot even name one.
Yeah.
I have had several.
So much support. Yeah.
I really have. And most of them have just come at it with open arms. I think we are really starting to recognize that there is so much work for everybody. And we also just want to see people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I do. Like, if anybody came to me, I will, what do you need? What do you
How
want?
can I help you?
How can I help you? Let me help you. Because that's just like success is the biggest form of flattery.
Yeah, that's exciting, because I think we are seeing that like shift in the paradigm, and people in the community, both designers, builders, trades, reps, are all starting to kind of open up a little bit more and recognize that there's a lot of work. And if we support each other overall, the industry is going to keep pushing forward. And that theme has come up in like several of our conversations. So I think you're bang on.
Especially like the relationship between contractors, trades, and designers. Like, there's so many of those, like, they just cringe, but those like memes out there or whatever it is, like when the designer heads on site, everybody's like, I'm out, I don't want to be a part of this, But I think that is also shifting. I think a lot of contractors realize that they won't even do work unless there's a designer involved, or a drafter, an architectural technologist, somebody involved, because we truly do make their lives easier.
Right.
And staying humble on a job site, bringing donuts really helps. But staying humble and asking the questions, like the amount of times that I've gotten on the ground with a plumber and it's like, tell me why. Like, what are you doing? You know, or like an electrician being like, okay, why can't I put the pot lights in the cedar? Like, tell me, like,
Explain it.
I
Yeah.
want to learn. And, you know, so taking that time to really, I am ignorant, you are the expert, I want to learn, that's built a form of respect to me and to them. And it's created a great relationship. A lot of those trades are actually that work for contractors that I work with have my, like, we text and send like just jokes. Like, it's just a really great environment.
And I think it's so awesome that your recognition that, you know, everybody is part of this community, whether they're a trade or a contractor or designer, and we all have so much like value to add and share for each other. Because I don't think that necessarily everybody views it that way. A lot of people kind of view it as like their camp, their trade builders, you know, and they don't want to share resources. But again, that paradigm is shifting, and it's an exciting time to be coming into this and to be, you know, starting your journey. I think you've obviously seen a lot of success in a short time, and will continue to see that. What are some of your like both short and long term goals for let's fucking design LFD for Laura Fendley Design?
You know what? I am like just, this is where my hometown comes to play in my real life. Like, I am very simple. I am a very simple person. I don't need to scale. I'm not excited. Like, that doesn't excite me hugely to be like the next huge thing. I just love to maintain and just want to keep it on. If that means like bringing on and continuing to freelance and, you know, and eventually somebody actually coming in, because it is just me, but, you know, coming in and joining my team full time. Yes, absolutely. But do I want to be like the next Shane McGee? Like, no, no. I mean, HGTV, sure.
If you're watching this.
Like, if you're watching, I mean, no, like, I just love to go to the grocery store and not be recognized.
Yeah.
You know? As a teacher, I used to be like, oh my God, there's Johnny. Like, take me to the cereal aisle. Like, so this has been actually a little bit of a blessing, or being recognized in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, it's been in industry leaders, like, you even asking me to do this, it's just been a huge, that's been a big positive for me. And I did a podcast last week. I thought, that's amazing.
Yeah. Whose podcast were you on?
Crispin's.
Okay,
From
cool.
CF Interiors. Yeah. So I think that comes out in January. And those were fun. Like, I will happily share my story if it helps somebody else. Why not?
Mm-hmm. And I think in that age of like social media and, you know, short and long form content, there's so much opportunity to collaborate and share information. Is that something you're going to be focusing on? Like, how are you marketing and branding and positioning yourself in the market? What tools are you using? You know, how are you generating buzz and finding clients and projects?
Yeah. Okay. Like, my business runs on word of mouth. It really does. And whether or not that comes from architects that I've met, trades that I meet, even other designers who do different level design, they even refer me out. And that's truly built on the community that I've built, right? And the friendships that I've gained through, you know, through just events and other things. Word of mouth has been everything. Social media is a bit of a pain point for me. I hired out a social media marketer just to get me going with it and really understanding what that looks like, and maintaining it, because social media, you have to have a presence. You have to be, what do people do when they look for you? They go to their website, they go to your website, they go to social media.
Yeah.
So you have to exist on there. So I hired somebody else to support me with that, and that's been great. Now I do it myself. But yes, for sure, social media, referrals, word of mouth, testimonials, all those things have really is what I think supported me in this.
And who are those like ideal clients for you?
That's such an interesting question. It's so fit for me. Like, it's just a fit. You know, people, yes, you know, this industry is no longer the days where I can renovate my bathroom for $20,000. So a lot of it is education. Yeah. And I will 100% have a call and a video call with anybody who has a question about something and guide them in a direction or two, right? I will do small projects for sure, as long as the fit is right and the relationship flows. Yeah, I will. Like, and then I'll do huge ones. Well, we just did a preschool from ground up, right? Like, that was a huge project. I took that on, and that was a like wild time in my life. But I learned so much, and but then I'll do like a bathroom,
because our tagline is any project, any budget, and sometimes I think about changing it.
Okay, that's fair. Actually, it has come a long way from like, I'm just going to do like a small little, one room furnishings, not even full furnishings, like zhuzh, to now be like, no, this is going to be like pulling teeth. It's almost too much work. So like doing a full space is probably more ideal. It's a little bit less work, to be honest. Like larger spaces are less work than small.
And it's
little
about that fit, like you said, for the project and the person, right?
Yeah, that's a major part of my process. Like that's how I run life, is fit. Like nobody's in my life that just makes me just cringe, right? Yeah. I just bite. I'm just at a point in my life where no, I don't have the time or space for them. Yeah, I truly fit. I do a discovery call first, always a video discovery call, and correspondence with emails. And then I'll do a consultation in-house, obviously, or wherever in space. And then honestly, if that doesn't work, like I no is a full sentence. I'm very kind and I will direct them in other ways, but I will not put myself through that, or any of the people that I would want to potentially bring on. I would also not bring them on because I respect them. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to work on either side of that spectrum.
And if you start off on the wrong foot, it's just going to go downhill.
In that like fit category, and like just in general with cohesiveness or connection on a project, like what are some of the challenges you've had in that first 2 years in terms of like finding that with clients, and where have you seen that perfect fit with clients? Just tell us a little bit about like those projects, those processes, and your experience around fit.
You know what? That's when you first started, and I think everybody probably says it, you're doing work for your family and friends, right? You just do. You got to get a portfolio some way. Like you have to have something out there in some way. So that's where I got a lot of my work from. But then as I met trades, I was being brought on. They would bring me on to their projects, and then they ended up being really great people. And from there, those clients have referred me out. Mm-hmm. I have quite a few projects going on right now, and all of them are from referrals from either my photographer. I have one from a photographer right now, one from another contractor. One is a daughter of like, it's just, that is now where my jobs are coming from. And I'm forever grateful, because it's like, good people go with good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all like in the same happy boat.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not, and I do get inquiries like from all over the place, especially for commercial.
Well, I hope we don't refer somebody to you, then you're just like, oh my God, that was a nightmare. So.
Right? Or I'll just happily say no, thank you.
Now I'm nervous about referral. Oh my God, everyone who we sent so far has been great.
Right. Tyra. No.
What questions do you have for me?
I love this new direction.
Yeah?
I do. You've always been a really candid person, and I think that you sitting behind a desk or traveling all the time,
pretty much,
which is fine, is a waste of your energy on other people. I think you are a light, and I think you should spread that.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying.
Oh my God. Well, right. You're actually, and you were so quick to respond. Like I just had, again, saying something I was ignorant on. I have a client who wants to do like solar film and other things on like all their windows. And you
just happened to catch me the day we were shooting a YouTube video about solar film.
Stop it.
That's why I was like, yeah, here's a picture of exactly that, because we had the showroom set up.
I love when the world aligns like that. Isn't it beautiful? But it's a beautiful thing.
In general, we do like, it's definitely, one of our core values. With just the size of the team and the number of sheer number of projects we do a year, it's going to be impossible, because I've gotten feedback the other way, where, specific departments or people inside the organization, they don't get back to people. And it literally drives me crazy, because we try to have that boutique feel. And, I recognize that sometimes time is it's critical to get an answer in a specific time frame.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're like that. But
I appreciate that.
We're working on it with everybody else.
That's actually really huge for me. When I first started this industry, everybody's like, you need boundaries. Okay. Like that means no texting your clients. That means no this, no that. I'm like, oh,
And you're like, it's Sunday.
me,
Whether
I left my industry because I didn't want to be told what to do. You're not going to tell me what. I will do what I want.
Friday night, 10 p.m. Hey, Tyrell, I need that pricing back by tomorrow.
Might even be 11:30. No, but not even with you, but I am very quick to respond as well. And I value that. I value time. But I'm also trying to build a business. So my perspective, I understand, is completely different than somebody who's been in it for 10 years. And I respect that. And I respect boundaries significantly. Do I have them? I'm learning. But even with my clients, that's actually been amazing feedback from them to me is we as designers are therapists. We are counselors. We are A, B, C, and D, problem solvers, probably at the top. And getting back to a client is just hits them in a way that they're like, okay, yeah, right, she's got it.
Right.
You know, like communication was at the forefront of my value as a designer. I came in with like my value set, and that was at the top. And I really respect that. And that's not, and like that's a non-negotiable for me. Do I put myself out? Yeah, probably. Do I put my family out? No, I will not. Mm-hmm.
No boundaries.
I mean, really get to know me, you'd probably be like, oh, she doesn't have any boundaries. So that's, no, I'm trying. I'm trying. I really am trying. Yeah. But it brings me joy. So it's hard to shut that off.
Yeah. Well, you gotta do what makes you happy.
Ask me in like 5-6 years and I'm like slowly drowning. Maybe it's going to be a different story and I'll have different boundaries. But what sparks joy and brings me joy, I'm going to respond. I'm going to do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
That's awesome. Where do you, like, what can Sonata do, or what can other companies do? What can trades do to help you with your business? Like, I know, so we're sitting in CF's showroom. They're really big on, free resources for, process structure and how to do markup. And what are some of the things that you're looking for as a designer, a design professional from your trade base or your resource base to help you push your business forward?
Love that. Product knowledge is huge. Like me just reaching out to you about, I know you did solar and I know you did that, but I know you do 100 of things, 100 of things. I know you do
200 of things.
200 of things. I know you do so many things that I haven't even really taken advantage of, right? And I think that that's where designers too are lacking. But yes, I reach out to my vendors to be like, listen, I need this color tile, like with this, like what's the availability in that? Having a vendor with so much product knowledge and their team also be aligned in like, okay, I was talking to Laura about this. Can you facilitate and help her with this? That is so helpful to me. That saves me time. That saves me energy. And also, let me tell you, I will move forward with you if I can pick up the phone and you're going to give me like, no, you should go with this because of this. And because of that, this is going to suit this design. Perfect. Like, so that to me, that product knowledge is the biggest thing. And I do a lot of that. Like, that's how I met you, but I will walk into a showroom that I'm not even familiar with to be like, tell me about your product, right? And if they can tell me and they can sell it and they can tell me how they're going to support me and my clients, sold. And you're a good person and it's a good fit. Okay, sold.
Done.
Done. Yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Actually, though, I rely on vendors.
It's a great answer.
Significantly. I spend more time emailing and calling and reaching out, texting, all the things. It's social media, PM, like Instagram, DMing, all my vendors, and they are just instrumental in what I do. Yeah. Don't do it all on your own.
Yeah. You can't.
Lord, I mean, we would be, let's not fucking design. LFND.
So I'm checking out your gram. Speaking of, social media.
Right. I'm so self-conscious about that.
Why? It's so good.
Okay, but I appreciate you.
So tell us a little bit about this project, because this is one of the first projects we did for you. And this is the one that had some really challenging windows to treat. And we did some really custom stuff in there. It was a mind melter. So this is the main floor. It looks beautiful. I hadn't seen this photo.
Oh,
tell me about this project. Tell me about the clients.
Send you those photos.
Please do.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll share. So will my photographer. Okay, that was actually a lot of fun. I love color. I do love a pattern. I love like that transitional approach. I'm like that pop of something. And that house was so much like that. So we did just a basic share behind. I don't want to say basic. Excuse me. It's not basic. A nice share behind, a beautiful share behind, with like a punch in front of it, like really bold. And that I really had to sell the clients on. They were, not so sure. But when you actually like lay it out and draw it out, they were on board. So we did some pretty bold fabric in their living room. We did a beautiful plaid. Remember, I was leaning towards velvet.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. That's okay.
I think that's why my brain, I pictured it with it.
Velvet,
Yeah.
right? I wanted some velvet drapes. Next project.
What are we doing with the office?
Yes, it was a stunning plaid.
What happened in the office?
Stunning plaid.
See, there you go. I guess I've never seen the pictures, Laura.
Hi, Tyrell. I'm Laura. Nice to meet you. Okay, I'll send you
start
those pictures. Yeah, no, it was amazing. This like brown, blue, again. So we had the cohesiveness throughout the space, right? Everything related. Everything had this piece that pulled the entire home together, but it just had like office vibes, right? Upstairs was clearly a designer was not involved in designing that room.
Yeah.
Because that window was wild.
And the wall,
it was
the whole
a
architectural
vault,
design.
Yeah.
Arch with a vault.
A narrow vault with a huge arch with no space for anything. We could not run drapery. It was there was just no, well, there was a solution. We found a solution.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for you. But yeah, very, very tricky situation. So not enough space to really think about like putting too much on there without it looking bulky or heavy in such a like light space. Yeah. So we ended up doing ceiling hung.
And it turned out beautifully.
It's stunning. They love it.
And that we did some solar film, I think, for them.
We did. You've done solar film. You did all the blinds all throughout their house as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't say their names, but they're great.
They're great. I won't say their names.
Yeah.
I still do work for them.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I've done custom tables. I've designed custom like furniture, and I'm still
Sweet.
Just this is my bread and butter. This is what I love.
Yeah.
Like because it's like these
I'll
clients
be
that
their
are
designer
amazing
forever.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like
You'll
I'm
never
on
get rid
retainer.
of me.
I'm on retainer with 3 clients right now that I'm just a part of your life now.
Yeah.
See you at Christmas. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is just what it is.
And I think that's because, like, again, just your personality and your commitment to the customer experience. So I think you'll see lots of people that work with you and repeat projects.
You know, this industry, especially with contractors, people are so quick to be so nervous.
Yeah.
Right? They're just such a bad rap with like, oh, they're taking all my money or whatever. So when a designer comes in and can make them feel at ease, can make a client feel at ease, but then can also bring on people that they trust, then that trust is it just creates this amazing flow within a project. We are pretty much married in a project for like a year plus. So it's got to be good.
Better be perfect.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's asking for a lot, James.
You could do it.
I mean, it's going to be good.
As an educator who made a change into design, like what are some preconceived notions that you had when you were on the education side of the fence that you had about design? And now that you're on this side of the fence, what are some of either those adjusted notions or expectations, or like what, how has that perception changed?
HGTV has done a disservice to our industry. Watching it from a different lens, oh my God, this is amazing. Like I raise salamanders for a living and we're going to do a kitchen for $2,000 and it's going to be done in 2 weeks. That has, as much as I knew I knew what was real and what was not, that's put a really a burden and on really as we come into this industry. We need time, we need resources, we need to freelance, we need to find our strengths, we need to have a process. The process could not have been more important, and I did not think that was such a big thing. Like creating task lists and all of those things. I just had no idea, and that's probably just a tidbit on running a business and being an entrepreneur in general. I didn't have any of that. Right. So coming in, I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to just design pretty things and it's going to be done in like a couple weeks. Like, no. Yeah. There is a full process that you should have if you're not. Otherwise, you're going to be like floundering.
Right. And I think that is another theme that comes up independent of whether it's a contractor, a builder, a trade, or a designer. When we have conversations like this, is the importance of process. And I think you're right. I think that whether it's HGTV or Architectural Digest or whatever, the way that like media around design and construction has been positioned over decades, it definitely focuses on the end result and sets in, I agree, like unrealistic expectations and creates that unnecessary burden, because it's difficult.
Yes.
Construction and design and renovation is a hard process. It's emotionally charged. It's expensive. Things don't go right
Never.
100% of the time.
No.
Things come late. Things come broken.
Yes.
They have to move
Yep.
a wall or shift
Yep.
this, or that paint color is now discontinued, or whatever it is. So there's a lot of challenges. Like you said at the beginning, you know, one of the many roles beyond therapist and designer is problem solver.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, a lot of the media out there doesn't focus on just how many problems can arise. So I think that's a really good call out.
You know what saves us too? I quickly learned communicating that right off the hop. Like communicating to somebody, it's going to take time. It's going to cost money. Things aren't going to go right. It's an emotional roller coaster. I've actually even put that into my welcome document. Like before you even step into talking to me, here. And it kind of, will it scare people away? Potentially. But those aren't the clients for me, because then they have unrealistic expectations. So no, I think having that communication set out of this is what it is. I've even drawn an emotional roller coaster with like all the pinpoints and the timelines for a client to understand what they need to like expect on this ride. Yes, things don't go well 100% of the time, you know. But that's actually funny. I was on site today. We're doing this really cool theater room in a basement, and we came across this mound in the floor, and we want to do like maybe a dry sink area. And the contractor called me and said, "Listen, I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Yeah, I can be there in like 20 minutes because we're supposed to do framing around it." It was unexpected. And literally I problem solved. We did it. It was fine. I left within 25 minutes. And as I was walking out the door, he goes, "Thank you for the therapy session. And I feel much better about this right now." And I was like, "Oh,
Top of the morning.
you're welcome. I'm going to charge you more." No, but right?
Change order.
Yeah. There's a change order for me now. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
You.
You know, we feel blessed and privileged and grateful to be a part of your journey.
Ditto.
You know, the last couple of years, seeing what you've accomplished, I know you have super, super bright future in the industry, and we look forward to working with you for years to come.
Absolutely. You're not going to get rid of me
So
that
let's
quickly.
fucking design.
Let's fucking Laura Fendley Design.